India versus Bangladesh. This was the second Super 4 game for Team India, a very important game for both teams, as this was, a chance to get into the finals. India coming off a victory from Pakistan, so on a high. Bangladesh, not much so, but still a very, very important game for them. Bangladesh came in with a few interesting changes. They were playing back to back today and tomorrow, so interesting selection from their end. But India played very well with a great start from, of course, Abhishek Sharma and Shubman Gill. India's bowlers also played really well. Some silver linings for Bangladesh, but overall a pretty dominant performance from Team India. We have a lot to unwrap in this episode today,
Welcome back to another episode of the In Between Overs podcast. We're your host for the day's play. I'm Taran.
and I'm Ishan.
Awesome. That was a good game. India, I felt overall still a little sloppy, but they were able to hold their own in the back half when it looked like Bangladesh were getting closer. And I think it was like 60 from 5 overs that they needed. And it all rested mainly on their opener, Saif Hasan, who we'll talk more about. And it seemed like it all rested on his hopes to enter Kuldeep Yadav and completely broke the lower order or the back of the lower order, if you will, of the Bangladesh batting unit, and that was that.
Yeah, no. India's bowling definitely came clutch when required. Let's just start from the beginning. India batting first. It seems like we've seen the same story before. India's openers with a flyer of a start. What were your thoughts on the partnership between Shubman Gill and Abhishek Sharma? And what have you thought about their entire performance, this entire Asia Cup?
About Abhishek Sharma and Gill together, the Abhi-Gill show. Yeah,
The
it's been
Punjabi boys.
the Punjabi boys. Yes, it's been amazing to watch them both bat. They clearly have some chemistry going on. Could be the Punjabi angle, or could be them playing together when they were younger.
Mhm.
But they look like a solid combination. It obviously helps with their left and right combination together. So, and they're both drastically different players, but so dangerous in their own ways that bowlers have to constantly be on their game to pitch the ball in the right areas or they're getting slapped.
Yeah, exactly that. I know we talked about this last episode as well, but even in today's game, we saw very similar types of playing styles. Shubman Gill was very calm. He played very riskless cricket, whereas Abhishek Sharma slogging, again, he's playing good shots, but he's not afraid to go over the top. I think again, it's a great sort of synergy that they both have. But India, again, off to a flyer. But I hope India is not too reliant on them because we haven't really seen India under pressure with a few early wickets in the power play. So I think that would be something interesting looking forward as well because, things go well on the front end, but what if wickets start falling in the power play?
Yeah, that is a good point because they have either had one of the openers or maybe the number three batsman put on runs and they were able to get off to good starts. But what happens if you're 20 for two or 35 for three, right? What are you doing then? So that is what we haven't seen yet. I don't know if the bowling attacks of the other teams are good enough to restrict India to that, but you never know. Stuff can happen, right? This is cricket after all. You want that to happen in a dead rubber game against Sri Lanka. That's all I'll say.
Yes. No. We all know how the law of averages works, so I completely agree. And hey, number 18 is not going to be there to consolidate runs for Team India. No Virat Kohli, so
Yes.
it'll be interesting to see if India become under pressure, sort of how they would react because they haven't really experienced that in the tournament so far. But I think you raised a good point there. It'll be interesting. But to your point, are the bowlers good enough to restrict India to that? So I think to your point, really interesting. But yeah, we did see Shuman Gill go down after, a very good start as well. And I was expecting Surya Kumar Yadav or Tilak Verma to come in, but who walked in and one down?
I don't know why he walked in at one down. Like you said, it probably was batting practice, but Shivam Dube is not a one down player. He needs to be in the middle order when he comes in, when the spinners are on, not when the
Yes,
pacers are still on. And I'm pretty sure, well, he ended up getting out to
Hussein.
Rashad Hussain, who is a spinner. But I felt like he should have been in maybe in the lower, like in the back half when India needs quick runs. I feel like that's why he's in the team. And obviously his bowling. But I don't know why he was up at number three. I think Sky just needs to calm one down. Like it's not like he's been scoring heavily. He needs to score runs as well. So I don't know why India is messing around with this with the top order, to be honest.
Exactly. And we talked about this in the last pod as well, where I was of the opinion that, India should rest some players, India should, not be too focused on this game, because I did think that India's team, wherever the selection would be good enough for this team. But if India started off with a full strength lineup, I don't know why they would then tinker with the batting order, because you're going full strength, just stick with what
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, exactly. Because the last thing you want is going with tinkering and then you lose, let's say you lose the game. Now everyone's going to talk about tinkering the order. And I agree. Why would you want to tinker the order? It just feels like one of those situations where India's been doing so well, and this happens in life too, where
Yes.
you do something so well that you just subconsciously get bored. And I'm just gonna
Complacency.
try, yeah, complacency, whatever you may call it, right? Complacency, comfort, and you just want to try something different, and you start messing around with what was working. If it's working, keep it going until it doesn't work. The old adage, right? Why fix if it's not
Yes.
broken? So I
Yes.
don't know why India is messing around with this because it may bite them in the butt later. Hopefully not in the finals, but at some point it'll bite them in the butt with all this messing around with the batting order.
Yeah, yeah. And we did see the result of that, because Shivam Dube, Suryakumar Yadav did not perform as well as they probably wanted to. Very, very low scores. Thankfully, Hardik Pandya came in again, which was surprising. He came in before Tilak Verma, because Tilak Verma has had a phenomenal, phenomenal tournament. So Hardik Pandya came in, and again, he did his thing, got a few boundaries, was able to play pretty, pretty quick as well. And without him, I think India looked kind of under pressure, because I know we were talking about this during the match as well, and even after the opening partnership made it seem like India was on par for 180, 190.
But yeah, the way Abhishek was playing, I think until he was there, India were probably going to get close to 200 easy. It was when he got out that things started to change, and you could see you now with the consistency that he's been showing, you now see how big of a difference he makes in this Indian batting lineup. And also a quick shout out, another shout out to him. He is now officially the number one T20 world batsman, which is amazing because I don't think we've had a world number one batsman that has a strike rate of almost 200 as his average. That's insane.
No, no, it's actually insane. I don't think cricket has seen anything like this. And I'm sure, it's actually quite phenomenal to have a player like this, because, we've grown up watching cricket. So we know the next generation is looking at Abhishek Sharma, realizing that maybe this is the benchmark of how to play. So I can only imagine how many Abhishek Sharmas will be coming in the future.
Yeah, the closest thing I can think of off the top of my head is the early David Warner.
Yes.
When he got going in T20s, he was like this, just
Left-handed as
absolutely
well.
left-handed as well, flamboyant, would just attack every single ball. And he had a very high strike rate in his early days, and then of course he changed over time. And that's to be seen with Abhishek, how he's going to evolve. He's obviously going to evolve as a batter as bowlers figure him out, right? You're going to figure out places to bowl to him and things like that, how to get him out. So he's going to have to evolve at some point. But right now, he is looking like $1 million.
Yeah, and it's really interesting you brought it in the David Warner comparison, because they also have, in addition to them both being southpaws, they have also having the connection of playing for Sunrisers Hyderabad. So
Yeah,
maybe something going on in that camp.
yeah. I wonder, maybe a couple conversations or two. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. So no, yeah. So obviously India didn't play as quickly or as good as they wanted to in the middle. Hardik Pandya obviously came in and was able to get them to, like, I would say, a little bit more of a competitive score. Akshar Patel as well, 10 off 15. I know we haven't seen his batting as much as this tournament, as perhaps the T20 World Cup, but good, decent score from him as well. I know it was tough, especially in the last overs. They were bowling extremely well. I think even in the last over, I think India was only able to score maybe 4 or 5 runs. So Bangladesh did very, very well to restrict India in comparison to how they were starting. And then comes the Bangladeshi openers. What were your thoughts on sort of their approach in the power play?
They looked like they wanted to get off to a good start, which I
Yes.
think was a good idea, given that India's strong suit is their spinners, Varun and Kuldeep. Of course, you're trying to do this against Jasprit, but they managed to do something in that power play. I think they scored 45, 46 in the power play, which is pretty good. That's almost going at 8 and over. I felt like maybe they lost 1 or 2 wickets too many. They were 2 down in the 7th over, so yeah, they seemed to not be able to put a partnership together. No one was able to be there with Saif other than Iman, but he got off for 21. But Saif Hasan looked really good, and I saw him bat against Sri Lanka too. He looks like a player. He looks like he can play.
Yeah.
He's got the shots, and it's not just slogging, like it's proper cricketing shots too.
Yeah, and he's taking down the spinners. He had 5 sixes, so you can only imagine how good he was playing. And obviously, the big caveat for those who watch the game know,
Yes.
few drop catches. So India is actually very concerning now from a fielding perspective because we saw that in the Pakistan game. We're seeing it now, and we know everyone talks about the ring of lights around the Dubai stadium, but
Yes, I was gonna say that.
India has played there in the Champions Trophy. India's played there so many years. You gotta take those chances.
Should they wear sunnies on? Should they put the sunnies on
You should wear what
against the
Pandya's wearing. Pandya wears sunnies.
Yeah, the fielding needs to definitely improve.
Yes.
I agree in the sense that they've played enough games in Dubai and Abu Dhabi for that matter to be able to understand the conditions. But you never know. It could be the way the sky is that night. Who knows, right? The clouds, who knows? So it is concerning, but I feel they'll be able to turn it around in the fielding.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with what you were saying there. Big silver lining for Team India though, and focusing on the power play, but even throughout the game as well. Bumrah's bowling. Bumrah bowled extremely, extremely well in the power play, and he was able to even, I think, believe take a wicket in the power play as well, which I think he was struggling with in Pakistan against Pakistan. Sorry. So it was nice to see Bumrah come back from, as we all know, the beating that he got against Pakistan in the last game.
There's a lot of averages, right? As you said earlier, he's not going to go for runs every single game. He's going to come back to the mean, and he did come back to the mean in terms of his economy and his wicket taking as well. He generally takes 1 or 2 wickets a game, and generally is under 6 and over. So it's back to norm for him. But again, it's how he's going to perform in the big game, which is going to be the finals. Curious to see how he goes then and who he will be up against.
Yes, yes, such a great point there. And then, keeping on the same plane, sorry, same tangent of Indian bowlers, spinners performed pretty well as well. I know we were talking during the game. Kuldeep Yadav bowled extremely well. I think he looked, as good as we expect from Kuldeep Yadav.
Yeah, his over where he took Rashad Hussain and Tanzim out, maybe not your premier batsman, but it was at that point where a couple sixes here, a couple sixes there, and Bangladesh is in with a strong shout. But by getting back-to-back wickets, it literally like ended the game right there. The only hope was Saif Hasan, but with no help from the other side, it was going to be extremely hard for him.
Yeah, I agree. And just focusing on those back-to-back wickets from Kuldeep Yadav. I know we've seen that from him, I think previously once in this tournament. And no, we've known he's done that in other competitions as well. Very, very important to get 2 back-to-back wickets because we know it forces the opposition to consolidate. It forces them to calm down, to play defensive cricket. So 100% from a momentum perspective, it's really great for Team India. And we were talking off stream about this. Kuldeep always seems to get the new batter out. Why do you think that's the case?
It just feels like he has this plan that when it's a new batter, the first ball, he goes for the googly or the wrong one. And you would think as a batter, because I've seen him do it often
Yes.
enough now, where if I'm a batter going in, I'm probably going to play for the wrong one. So it could be that he's just that difficult to pick, where his wrong one looks like a regular leggy. And even when they show the slow replays, it's hard to it's hard to pick his positioning of his hand. It looks, and I've batted obviously at an amateur level, but I cannot see the bowler's hands. I literally play off the pitch. So I can only imagine how hard it must be for a batter trying to play him. And it's not like he bowls slow. Like he's quick. The reason why he's been doing so well in the last few years is because he's quickened up his speeds. So
Yes,
you can't play him off the pitch as easily as you could in the past. So
yes.
you have to pick him from from the hand, and if you can't, you're screwed.
Yes. It's his speed, but also his variation in flight because we've seen it as well. He has those deliveries where he's able to flight it up, but he also has those deliveries that
Yeah.
don't go too high. So it's very quick, not too much in the air. It's tough to react. So no, I completely agree.
Awesome. So we got a dead rubber on our hands. Any major changes? Probably rest a few players. I'm seeing India. I'm probably seeing India do that. Rest Bumrah, maybe Kuldeep. How do you see them playing that out?
Yeah, rest. Yeah, you got to rest people. Bring Arshdeep in. Bring harsh shit in. Sorry, I just I have to say that again. Yeah, yeah. I think perhaps don't touch the batters. Because obviously you want them to play as much as they can on the pitch. Maybe don't tinker the order. Keep everyone's role there,
Mm.
understand what the role is. But yeah, I think from a bowling perspective, I know it's only 4 overs per game, but rest Bumrah, look at a spinner, either rest Kuldeep or Varun, and just bring in, Harshit and Arshdeep as well. So yeah, I definitely see them making those changes.
Is Washington in the team? Washington Cinder?
I actually don't think so. I haven't seen him.
Okay, okay. I don't think they have another spinner, do they? I think it's just these three. I feel like there's one more. I'm trying to bring up the
Well,
squad.
here's the thing though, they've been using Tilak Verma. They've been using
That's
Abhishek
right.
Sharma.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there. I think they should rest the bowlers. Maybe play Varun because they rested Varun last time. So maybe
They did.
rest Kuldeep this time and play Varun. And yeah, bring in Arshdeep and Harshit. I can't even say their names.
Yeah, no, fair enough. No, I think, yeah, it's gonna be a dead rubber on Friday, so definitely, India should, keep it chill, do whatever you want, but from a batting perspective, I think they should still play as they should play. More interesting, though, is the game tomorrow, Pakistan versus
Yes.
Bangladesh. It's
It's a
effectively
semifinal.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a semifinal. It's
what are
gonna
your
be
thoughts on that?
amazing. I am looking forward to this game. I'm looking forward to this game. I feel for Bangladesh because it's back-to-back games, but I have a feeling this is why they rested
Yes,
their one player they had to switch. Apparently, Liton Das is injured, which is a big
he
blow
is
for them. If he
forced
can't play
change, yeah.
tomorrow, is he out for tomorrow as well?
I believe so. I think it's a forced change, yeah.
Okay. That's a big loss because he's one of their best batsmen by far. And I think the others that they rested, I feel they may play tomorrow. So I have a feeling that Bangladesh probably came into these two games looking at them and being like, we probably are going to lose to India no matter how well we play. Might as well just go for the Pakistan game. So I feel it's going to be an amazing game. Pakistan also has gotten a little bit of confidence from the
They
last
did.
game.
Yep.
They did play fairly well. They held their nerve. They were like when they were chasing that target in Sri Lanka. At one point, it looked like Pakistan were going to do Pakistan things again and
Yes.
just blow up the game.
Yes. Yes, but Mohammad
But
Nawaz came clutch.
yeah, and Hussein Talat too,
Yes.
who for some people, again, I was listening to the Backward Point podcast. Shout out to them. They didn't like the change that was made in the India Pakistan game when Hussein Talat came in because he came in for Hassan Nawaz, who
Yes, yes, who is apparently, like, the next thing.
apparently the next big thing in Pakistan cricket, and they were disappointed that he was left out. And Hussein Talla did not bowl in that game against India, which is another surprising thing. Because I thought he came in because they wanted to have some more bowling options, but they didn't even bowl him. And then they ended up bowling him this time against Sri Lanka, and he had like a double wicket maiden, and his bowling is very similar to Shivam Dube. Very similar. Maybe just maybe like 3 or 4 kilometers more than Shivam Dube.
He's
But
123.
yeah, but But it feels like that kind of bowling with a little bit of nip here and there can be tricky, can be very tricky, and that's what happened. And then he was pretty solid with the bat too. He was able to hold the innings together, and then Nawaz was able to finish off the game at the other end.
Exactly, yeah. No, no, it was, it did look at a certain point that you to your point, Pakistan was gonna do Pakistan things, but, you know, they were able to win. Very important victory, obviously, for the Super 4 composition. Tomorrow, Bangladesh versus Pakistan. Give me a name and why.
So I really, really, really want Bangladesh to get to the finals, but at the same time, I want to see an India versus Pakistan final again. I know it's the third time in the tournament, but it would just and
Say it.
I'm Indian. I always support India,
Say
but
it.
it would be something. It would be something if Pakistan reaches the finals and they beat India. It would be something.
I'll be honest with you. I am 95% certain that if India were to go into this time were to go in the finals, India would win. But I'll end off by saying there's a little bit of Champions Trophy in the air, that vibe of when India beat Pakistan all those years ago, but then in
Yeah.
the final, Mohammad Amir and Fakhar Zaman
Yes.
were able to seal the deal. You know, India were favorites in that tournament. India played extremely, extremely well, but obviously they lost to Pakistan in the second game that they had with Pakistan in that tournament. So that's a little bit in the air. And obviously India, you know, winning 2 games against Pakistan. We talk about law of averages. Any team in T20 can win a game here or there. So
Yeah.
it would be very, very interesting if it is an India versus Pakistan final. Because let's be real, this Asia Cup is basically an India versus Pakistan series.
Yeah, literally. Like it's literally India versus Pakistan bilateral, and it just so happens that there's other countries that are in this tournament.
Yes, yes. No, I agree. I agree.
And if India do lose, we can say that India still won because they won 2 out of 3 games.
But if India lose, the amount of backlash, the amount of media,
Man, people's heads are entering the chopping block for sure.
I
For
will
sh
likely lose his captaincy.
We're saying that? Okay. I feel like that may happen because I think we talked about this offline. Shubman Gill's waiting to take over captaincy. And if something like a loss happens, I do feel like Sky may lose his captaincy.
Yes, no, exactly that. So it'll be interesting. But one thing I want to mention as well is I have a feeling that Abhishek Sharma is due for a century. He's gotten close. He's gotten 70, 60 scores. I think he's due for a century. So either I think, and I'm calling this, he's either getting a century in the Friday game against Sri Lanka, or he's saving it for the big finale.
I hope he doesn't score any runs against Sri Lanka because if he does, that's it. We've seen the best of Abhishek Sharma for the tournament. Yeah, obviously I would want him to keep scoring runs, but at some point, the law of averages always get to you, and you do want him to save something for the finals. Should we rest him for Sri Lanka? I don't know. Might be a thought actually. Maybe
Promote
rest him for
Sanju,
Sri
bring
Lanka.
in Jitesh.
Yeah, Sanju opens. Sanju opens with Shubman Gill.
Yeah, could be.
I can see that. I can see that.
GG is not shy of anything in the finals. In the finals.
All right. I think we've been we've been harping on way too long here. So we're going to end it right there. We'll see you at the finals. Or no,
Okay.
we'll see you after India, Sri Lanka, actually. We'll
Yes.
cover that dead rubber. And then we'll see you at the finals. So until then, that stumps.